Tonight, I want to talk about something that might have passed through your mind if you're an African living in Africa. Maybe you might have thought, okay, maybe I should consider traveling or moving abroad. Maybe at some point in your life, when life was not working out properly for you, you thought maybe I should move abroad or go into the diaspora or move into a different country and try and look for greener pastures. So today I want to talk about the challenges that you might face when you move abroad. First of all, traveling is the best thing that you can ever do to yourself. There's nothing that can replace it. I mean, the experiences, the knowledge, you get to see how other people live. You get to see how other countries are governed. You get to see how safe and unsafe other countries are. You get to see political freedom that other countries have. You get to see the development, better infrastructure. You get to see different cultures. I mean, that's nothing is compared to it. You get to see how other people live. You get to see, sometimes you see business ideas that are not available in your country, but other people in a different country are doing it. So I think traveling is the best thing that you can do for yourself. But my major focus of this video is probably the economic migrants, people who decide that, you know what, things aren't working out at home, I have no job, maybe should consider moving abroad so that I can look for greener pastures. The first challenge that you're going to face all over the world, in so many countries, in all those countries that are considered greener pastures, or all those other countries that are considered doing well, they are overwhelmed by migrants. I can tell you, they are overwhelmed by economic migrants from different countries, from their own neighboring countries, and from by migrants from Africa. So, in any country that you move into now, which is considered to be doing well, you are going to be faced by hostility. People are not going to be welcome to you. People are going to segregate you. People are going to treat you a certain way, and you're going to struggle with legalizing yourself. Which leads me to the second point, which is legalization. Well, you need papers. In so many countries, you need visas. In so many countries, you need work permits in order to get a job or in order to work. If you work illegally or stay and live in a certain country illegally, you're going to be looking over your shoulder every single day. The law enforcement are always going to be on top of you. You might be deported. You're going to run away every single time. And the other challenge that you're going to have, if you are an illegal immigrant, you are most likely going to be exploited by your employers because they know you do not have the required papers in order to work in the country. So you have no rights basically. So they can pay you whatever they want. You have to work in any working conditions and you must accept it. And with the challenge of legalization, all the basic institutions that you need to access, you need to have a bank account, you need to go to hospital, all those things are gonna be difficult for you to access because you are an illegal immigrant. So those systems are designed that you must have proper paperwork in order for you to obtain or access those critical institutions that you need to access. You have no right to those things, and you are not gonna be able to access them because it's gonna be difficult. And second of all, okay, if you migrate to a new country, you don't know anything. You are absolutely new. If it's better if you are migrating to a country where there is someone already who can be able to help you. For the most part, sometimes we do not have anybody in a different land that we can who can help us familiarize ourselves with just going in blindly. It's gonna be very difficult for you to know anything, even the basics of where can I buy this, where can I get that, where do I go to look for a job, how does the system work, where shouldn't I go, where is unsafe, where is safe. It's gonna be very difficult. It's like you are a kid who is being born because you don't know anything about that place or anything about that country. So it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna take time for you to familiarize yourself. That's another challenge. The other serious challenge that you're going to face when you get to the diaspora, when you go into different countries, especially countries abroad, your education qualifications from Africa might not mean anything. They might not value those education qualifications. They might not respect any of that. Sometimes we are perceived to have fake qualifications. They think you've just made it up and you don't have it. So it's gonna be difficult if you have like a high school thing or you have like some kind of university degree which really don't mean anything unless if you have a degree from a prestigious university, or which is also a critical skill, yes, you might be offered a good start. So which means if your education qualifications are not considered or are not valued overseas, it simply means that sometimes you're going to have to do work that you are not willing to do, because what usually happens is migrants usually take jobs that the local citizens are not willing to do. So you might end up doing work that you were not prepared to do, because you thought, okay, maybe I'm gonna get a job in marketing because I have a qualification in marketing or accounting or whatsoever. And you get there, they do not value or respect your qualification, and you end up being a waiter, you end up being a housemaid, you end up being in construction, you end up being a security guard, or some marginalized job. But it is what it is. The best thing that you can do is, if it's possible at all, when you actually go overseas, start studying there, and then you have obtained qualifications of the land that is respected in that land. The other big challenge is discrimination. I mean, I've alluded to it before when I spoke about the overwhelming majority of migrants in certain countries. And some of these countries are mainly white populations. Some of them are Chinese. Maybe you want to move to China. Maybe you want to try and go to any other country which is not a black country. You're going to be discriminated. There will be some racism. There will be all those things, especially towards black people. And worst of all, if you are an economic migrant, I mean, you are coming from a weaker position. You're going to be exploited. You're going to be discriminated. You're going to be disrespected. At some point when you're out there, that's why people who are in the diaspora end up developing anger towards our governments in Africa, because you're thinking, I cannot do this because I'm not a citizen. I cannot do that because I'm not a citizen. I'm treated this way because I'm not a citizen. What if I could do all these things in my own country, but you can't do them either because your country is broken, and the systems are broken and the systems are not working? You understand how people get frustrated. The other thing is the cost of living. I mean, when you are in your own country, you can live day to day just by growing some crops, and you eat that. You have a garden of veggies. You can go to your neighbor. You can do this and that. When things are not working well, you are at your mother's house. Doesn't matter. You are in a village. You don't need anything really to pay rent. You don't need. But out there in the when you move to the diaspora, life can get expensive very quickly. Everything that you need, you buy food, accommodation, and accommodation is very, very expensive. And you end up in a situation that you don't want to be in, because life is expensive. You end up having to live in very, very dirty environments, or unhumane conditions, like the situations in Dubai, which I will show you here, like a short clip where other some of our brothers are living in the Dubai, which is something unbearable to anybody.
A bed space, as it is commonly referred to in Dubai, simply put means any floor space, bed, bunk, or sleeping facility used or intended to be used as sleeping accommodation for an individual. The bed space is nothing like a usual comfy accommodation. These are independent rooms in Dubai, littered across the streets, starting anywhere from 1,500 dirhams, going up to 6,000 dirhams in a flat share accommodation.
The bed spaces here are really terrible. There are no words to describe my experience. You find people struggling for a square inch of bed space, paying about 300 to 600 dirhams, depending on the position of the bed space, whether it is the floor or on the deck. Curtains and plywoods are being used to separate people, and if you're lucky, you get a partition, which is a plywood is being used to separate you from the next person. This is a bed space. We're actually in here. In this room, we actually have about 4 to 5 different nationalities. We have Cameroonians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leoneans, Nigerians, and other nationalities living in this place. Like I said earlier, it is a bed space where people have to share, like you have the upper side and the down side. That's how life is in a typical bed space setting here in Dubai.
The next thing is jobs. I mean, I've alluded to it when I was spoke about your education and stuff like that. Usually, the jobs that you're going to do is the jobs that the local citizens are not willing to do, and you're going to have to work extra hard. Sometimes we do not understand how hard people have to work to be in the diaspora. Some working conditions are ruthless, some of them are tough, and sometimes you have to work multiple jobs in order to sustain yourself, and also be able to support people home, and also maybe be able to achieve one or two, three things. So jobs are gonna be difficult. You might work in difficult conditions, work harder than you expected, work more hours than you expected, work jobs that you were not expecting to do. And what are my advices to those who are thinking or even imagining to travel or move to the diaspora? I mean, look, traveling is good. Traveling is a great thing. I wish Africa can take away all the borders and all the strict rules so that people can be able to move around and freely travel to other countries and see other things. Yes, it's great. You need to travel. Economic migrants, you need to think twice. You must understand where you're going and what's going to happen there. And for other people, really, I would advise not to do it, because some people are taking serious risks, going through the oceans and dying in the ocean, and getting there overseas and being exploited, being trafficked, and all those things, and living in very, very dirty conditions and unbearable conditions just to be overseas. At some point you are better off at home. You might need to consider staying at home. And with this trend of where the world is going, where those countries that have been attractive to so many people around the world, and many people have been flocking there, their policies are changing now, and they are working hard to try and limit the number of migration. So it's not the best time for you to try and migrate to a certain country. And as much as you can, try to do it legally. I mean, do not do illegal things. Do not try and migrate or sneak into a country. That is going to create serious problems for yourself in the future. Please consider subscribing, share with your friends so that we can grow this community. Thank you so much.